Phoenix Splash TV. Where am I? There's nothing like waking up on the cold floor of a prison. Now why am I in here? Am I really such a bad guy? Give me 2 or 3 months in here and I may transform. You may be familiar with the phrase, a caged beast only gets angrier. I believe that's true. I need to get out of here. There's studies that show that when prisoners get locked up, it only damages their psyche more. That's why they get all that recess and recreational stuff. But what about an emotional cage? And yes, they do exist. People lock themselves away from the ones they love in order to put themselves back together from a tragedy. It could be a simple loss of a family pet. Or it could be, I don't know, the murder of your father by a master of Chinese martial arts. That's right, this is another Shenmue Quick Analysis Theories, Thoughts, Facts, Did You Know, and Did You Didn't Know short video series. If you've seen my other theories, you may have noticed I keep comparing Ryo to Londy because they mirror each other. Both are filled with revenge, and we all know that the battle with Londy is inevitable. But will Ryo be filled with revenge during the battle? I think it's close to impossible not to. If Ryo is face to face with Londy, it will be filled with revenge and hate in my opinion. I don't think that there's any way around it. I think in the end, Ryo will ignore Shuing and Master Chen's words and ultimately hunt down Londy. Does that make him evil? The story has been told before with movies like The Crow and the Grand Theft Auto games. Is The Crow evil? Are the protagonists from the GTA games evil? Well, you see where I'm going with this. Yes. As of now, no matter what advice Ryo has gotten dealing with Londy, you can still see that he's hell-bent on wanting vengeance. Now realistically, we can all agree that killing another individual is bad. Hell, it might even land you behind bars. But this isn't an edgy story like Metal Gear Revengeance. Shenmue contains realism, and lots of it. For this theory, we have to assume that Shenhua isn't going to have much of an effect on changing Ryo's mind on what he wants to do to Londy. As of right now, Ryo wants Londy dead. Let's take a look at Shenmue 2. Remember those red trees in the game? For a while, I've been pondering on what they symbolize. Now Shenmue has tons of symbols, but probably the biggest ones are those red trees in Hong Kong. They symbolize Ryo's anger and yearn for revenge. How do I know this? Well, look at them, they're red. The trees are basically an embodiment of Ryo's anger and revenge. Catching the leaves symbolize what he has to go through to overcome his rage. Now, my interpretation of the red trees might be a bit different from the other Shenmue fans. Here's what I mean. When you're catching leaves in Shenmue 2, you can't catch them all, meaning that most of them are falling down. Ryo has to focus on only one leaf in order to catch it. Now, what does this tell us? My interpretation is that by focusing on catching one leaf, symbolizing Londy, you witness other leaves fall. Now, what does this mean in total? Go back to Shenmue 1's bad ending and you might see something unsettling. Londy actually returns to Ryo's house in Japan, interrogating Fukusan, until Ryo comes in and gets killed by Londy. This is what happens when you don't beat the game before April 15th, but who's to say Londy doesn't return there while Ryo is in Kowloon? If this were to happen, there would be a good chance that Londy kills Fukusan and maybe even kill Ine-san, all as a consequence for Ryo's revenge. Whether it be the irony or just damn good writing, I think catching the leaves illustrates this pretty well. By catching one leaf, Ryo is letting the other leaves fall. The other leaves can symbolize Ryo's love for Nozomi to keeping up with the family dojo. Also, in the bad ending, the line "the cherry blossoms fall" is spoken by Shenhua within a dream and repeated by Ryo when he wakes up. But there's one more consequence to all of this evil that Ryo might have in his heart. A big, giant, fat consequence that I hope I'm wrong about. Now, out of all of the Shenmue characters, whom would side with Ryo when it comes to murder? If you guessed Ren, you guessed right. When we look at the original chapter cards for Virtua Fighter RPG, we might notice that the characters Ren, Shuing, and Shenmue are already in place to go on an adventure with Akira. Ren is even seen in a much later chapter with Akira doing a fighting stance. Once we get to the second to last card, we see something a bit disturbing. Akira is holding what seems to be a dead body in his arms. Many people speculate that this is Ren who dies, but it's really hard to say. It could be Wong or even another character we have yet to see, but I'll save up these Virtua Fighter RPG cards for another episode. So is Ryo evil? I think that when it comes down to it, he might not be all that evil. I mean, he spared Chun Yan's life in Kowloon, but I will say that Ryo has an evil objective. Now I know that my interpretation of the red trees in Shenmue 2 may be different from the average Shenmue fan, but you can't deny that another tragedy is going to happen. Now whether or not Londy killed Fuku-san and Ine-san is a different story, but there's really nothing holding Londy back from returning to Yokosuka. One thing is for sure, Ryo didn't get to where he was by simply waiting. I need to get out of this prison. I also have to give a big shout out to Sean's 12SS, whom has a channel and videos of his own. He's the one who led me down this path of evil. Now if you'll excuse me. 捕まえたければあなたがどうぞ。私はごめんです。